Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the owner broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's Real Estate Authority, Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb is an author. Barb's also a pilot, and Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have got to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday. If you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or just look for Barb on all of the popular podcast platforms, iHeartRadio, etc. So, Barb, what's in store for today's show?
Oh, Richard, I thought I'd mix it up a little bit. A lot of times the first segment I'm talking about statistics and just the facts, and that's good to have. But at the end of the day, most home sellers want to net the most money when they sell their home. So we're going to hit on some key points about exactly how to do that so that when you sell your house, when you get ready for sale, you're prepared. So that's the first one. And then the second one is kind of a unique one. It's how to price your home to get multiple offers. This, for me, is the happiest time when I'm sitting down with a home seller and getting more than one offer, because they have choices. It puts them in the driver's seat. They're able to pick the best buyer for them. So we'll deep dive on some examples of that, as well as how to position the home to actually get multiple offers. And then the third one is questions that I get a lot of times from home sellers once they accept an offer. A lot of people assume that everybody knows that they've got an offer, but actually that's private information. And then once they accept an offer, then what do? Are they supposed to allow other agents to show? Because really the deal isn't firm yet. I've got one that I'm working with right now where the inspector came in with his gadget, and it's a gadget that he calls a moisture meter, but in fact, it actually just reads temperature differences. And in his mind, oh, there's definitely mold or there's water or moisture behind that wall. He doesn't know. The only truth is there's temperature difference according to his gadget, if in fact it's calibrated right. So we're battling over that issue. Why are we battling over that issue? The seller told us he's never had any moisture ever in the 8 years he's lived there in the basement. So why is this all of a sudden a problem? It's because the inspector ran his gadget along that wall and determined there must be moisture there now. So the deal isn't necessarily certain when you accept a contract. So what we do is we keep marketing the home because we don't know if the buyer's going to bail out. Just recently, I had a buyer bail out after 3 weeks. He had already paid for inspection and appraisal. And then, oh, sorry, I can't get a loan. I'm like, oh my God, really? You didn't know that going in? But the cold, hard truth is that it's only 1 week of school to be a mortgage broker. And they don't really know if the underwriter is going to approve the loan, especially if they're a rookie and don't really know what they're doing. And of course, he wouldn't disclose to me. It was private information about why this buyer couldn't get the loan. Fortunately, we resold the home right away, but to a cash buyer. But, that uncertainty is the part of home sellers that makes them crazy. So we try to mitigate that. We're going to talk about that. And then the last topic is how to choose the best real estate agent when you're selling a home. And as always, I love talking about my hot new listings. Richard?
So, Barb, in this market, I've heard you say for years that home sellers want the most money when they sell their homes. That makes sense. What are some simple ways for our listeners to net more money when they do sell their homes?
Well, Richard, a lot of people think, do I have to do a full-on remodel? Do I have to, blow out the kitchen? And those are very expensive projects. And you don't want to do those projects for your next buyer. You want to do those projects for you. So I always recommend try to keep the home relatively updated as you go along. But if you can't do that, it's okay. There's a different price for that. You can't necessarily price your home as compared to ones that have been completely remodeled when you go on the market. But there's some basic things that you can do where you can actually net more money on the sale. And a lot of them are really, really simple. One of them is just paint and touch-ups. I'm not saying paint the whole house. A lot of people don't really notice, and I don't have a real keen eye when I go into a room, but most people don't really notice if it needs fresh paint. They will notice if it has drama paint, like the Bronco orange wall that I've talked about, or reds in particular, as far as paints, turn to fuchsia online, and that's a guaranteed buyer repellent right there. So don't use red if you can. Try to neutralize colors as much as possible. And you want to go with, soft grays, grayish, creamy white tans, anything that's not too heavy. Avoid heavy browns. Things like paneling look dated. I've seen people paint paneling and it actually makes it look like shiplap. It looks very cool. But it really depends on what your price range is and what kind of buyer you're targeting. There are certain things that you should do in a higher price point that you really don't need to do in a lower price point. So it depends. And that's where we come in. We give our clients an in-person, in-home consultation and tips on what to do or what not to do to get their house ready for sale. And you could call us anytime to do that at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. You also want to focus on the key 6 spaces. Number 1, curb appeal. That's absolutely critical, followed by the living room, followed by the kitchen, followed by the master bathroom, the backyard, and the master bedroom. Those rooms are absolutely critical. Make sure they look fresh, not broken. Update paint if you can. If not, just touch up the paint and have it match. Also, flooring is a big deal. Even relatively new carpet sometimes will show the traffic areas, especially when it's vacant. All flaws get magnified if you position the home as a vacant home. So it's really, really important to deal with those issues up front. And sometimes you can do paint yourself. Could cost $200 to $400 to do it yourself. LED lights, sometimes those actually, there's plenty of those at the Home Depot store, but they make sure your bulbs match. Like if you have a light fixture that has 4 or 5 bulbs, you want them all to be the same intensity and not have one dark and one light. It just looks tacky. And also, as far as daylight and presenting the home, you want to make sure that the curtains are open, the blinds are open. You want it light and bright. Bring the outside in. That's really, really important because the buyers are trying to visualize themselves in the room. So if it looks kind of dark, it doesn't attract a buyer. And decluttering, I could do a whole segment on decluttering, but in general, the quickest way I can tell you how to do this is take your phone, turn it sideways, take a picture of the room and blow it up either on your iPad or somewhere else on a computer so it speaks back to you. People live with clutter. I have clutter in my house. Everybody has a little bit of clutter in their home, but you don't want to present your home that way. And focus on those key rooms first. Curb appeal, living room, backyard view, kitchen, master bathroom, master bedroom. Those are the rooms where the buyers are very focused in on first, followed by the rest of them. Spare bedroom, if it has drama paint, you don't have to make that your number 1 priority. Most people can get over having one room with drama paint. It's when you have the key rooms with drama paint, like the master, you've got an issue. Also, make sure I've had feedback after my clients have actually met with the stager and she's given them instructions on how to position the home for photos. And usually they'll say, this room just looks like nobody lives here, which is kind of the idea. It's not vacant. It's just more austere. All the stuff off the table, hide away the remotes, pick up the little throw rugs. And consider storage. Consider storing away the furniture that you have to have at your next destination. And you want to make sure your home looks good. We also offer a pre-listing checklist on what to do: clean, declutter, neutralize, brighten, fix the basic stuff. And when you're putting up photos, I get that question all the time. Do I have to take every photo of my family down? No, not necessarily, but some people go overboard and cover the entire wall. Or one time I saw a whole staircase going down with their whole life story. And it's fine for living. It's not great for showing. Generally, on a wall, you want one focal point, unless that wall has a window and views, and then that's your focal point. So that's the rule of thumb that I would suggest that you go by. And basically, what are the buyers responding to? Well, the good news right now is the rates are still hovering around that, 5 and 2/3 for the government loans, FHA and VA. Right around 6 is fluctuating up and down at 6 right now, which is good. It's a 1.5 below what it was when the Fed raised the rates in 2022. More buyers are getting tired of waiting. They're actually buying homes right now. So when you go on the market, the way you get the most money is you price it very, very realistically, and you make sure you take care of any broken deferred maintenance, unless that home is priced below market, and then all sins are forgiven. Things that repel buyers would be like clutter, pricing a home too high, or really bad marketing. And I hate to say I see it, but I do. I'll look at pictures of other listings and go, man, they couldn't just pick up for the photo. It's really surprising. If you are thinking of making a move and you'd like to get a free in-home evaluation or over the phone evaluation, even, I've done that. I've talked to people and we've done it over FaceTime or Zoom. Give us a call at 719-301-3900. My name is Barb Schlinker. I'm the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty and the host of this show. And I'd love to help you when the time is right. Richard?
We're here talking with Barb Schlinker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You can reach Barb at 719-301-3900. And Barb, we're talking about some simple ways to net more money before they even list their house for sale. So what are some of these other things that home sellers regret not doing before they sold their homes?
Well, some people will regret really under preparing the curb appeal. Curb appeal is critical. I've had buyers tell me right now the average is less than 57 seconds when they're looking at homes online before they're moving on. But there are some buyers that say, no, it's more like 5. If I don't like those first couple of pictures, I'm done. I'm gone. So there's quick fixes that you can do with curb appeal, even when we're kind of in the off season. Like right now is the springtime. It's not quite warm enough for everything to green up and the mulch is blown away. So you want to do things like refreshen the mulch, clean up the front yard, tidy up the walkway, give the bushes a haircut, make sure that front door looks good and the doorbell's not broken. Also consider, if it's warm enough, painting any peeling paint on the outside. We see it most commonly around doorways or around trim. There are some agents that actually will walk up and say, oh, this home won't go VA. It won't qualify because it has peeling paint. But all those things could be resolved even by the buyer. It's unfortunate to say that agents actually do talk smack about homes when they're showing them. I think they do it to position themselves as experts. They'll even say the home is not worth that much while they're showing. How do I know? We catch them on camera saying these things. So they ask me, why did they say this about my house? And I just say, look, they're just trying to position themselves as experts. Don't worry about it. The buyers typically can see through those things. Another thing that a lot of people regret doing is not replacing tired, worn carpet or cleaning up things that should be cleaned up, like a little mildew in the shower, that stuff. So give us a call at 719-301-3900 to get your free in-home consultation, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Barb Schlinker on Your Real Estate Voice. She is the owner-broker of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. You can always reach her at 719-301-3900. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about how to price your home to get multiple offers. Don't miss that.